Good afternoon to all the participants and to our today's guest speaker as well. We are shortly starting our session. A brief introduction about Manna sir is already given in the inaugural session, so we will be directly taking you over to his talk. Sir, we are awaiting your talk. Please, the dais is yours. Please start.
Thank you very much. And dear participants, we already have interacted at morning inaugural session, and we know the reason for what we are here. And you must be there for next 1 week of time virtually to be visiting to Oxford College of Engineering and Technology, especially in the Department of Biotechnology. And this particularly FDPs, those are given by AICTE in the form of Atal online FDP programs, and they have the complete sponsorship to be conducting. There must be some reason, whenever the government is doing funding or doing any sponsorship, there must be some reason. So here it is a mandate given to the institutions like Oxford College or wherever the respective area subject matter experts exist and their labs exist and their expertise exists. They should share it. They should share as a knowledge sharing, as a technology sharing, as the experience sharing, the success stories sharing amongst the other faculty members from the respective institutions. Those are keen to have their future in the similar area, or those are keen to have the collaborations. Suppose after this FDP, and you will come to know that so many speakers, or maybe even a Professor Manjunath or some other great professors, they are working in this kind of area of maybe agriculture or biotechnology. So you want to pursue your maybe doctorate or maybe a postdoctorate or maybe any kind of research along with your students. You should reach out to them, because once you will meet the people, you will interact the people, then you can put as a reference. Suppose out of this 22 or 23 participants, those are present over here. Tomorrow they will write an email to me or sometimes to Professor Manjunath, sir, I have attended your one program here and there, and I could find this is very relevant to my area. Can we do some research jointly? Can we send a proposal jointly to the Government of India or to some other kind of funding agencies in India as well as outside India? So this is the one motive, like to be how we should publicize, propagate, and to make visibility of the best practices happening in that area. So that is the role of the FDP. And the second part is sometimes new developments are happening, and we are busy in our daily routine life. Until unless we do come this kind of structured program, so-called faculty development program, STC, STTP, etc. We focused because we are intent to attend the program, because it is having a certification along with this, it has a participation along with this, it has a question answers along with this, feedback mechanism along with this. So then you become more attentive and you find something is happening in the world is different. So today if you think that I'm going to open a new book for you, no, I'm not going to write an open book for you, because I'm not a person from the agriculture side. Neither I'm a person from the core IoT side. But still, if I have some knowledge and I have some information to be get shared, I think it is my one of the duty, being a faculty, being a professor, being an administrator, to be shared with others, my colleagues, my friends, and they to be get benefited directly or indirectly. Look into this Internet of Things in India. Internet of Things is a very vast topic. You talk about that so many terminologies, so-called blockchain or AI or many other kind of things are happening. End of the day, everything is done with the internet. Internet. And for this, we have the different states, the contribution, how they are contributing. And you will find your state also where you are from. Like suppose if you are from the Karnataka, what you will find here, the Karnataka is also having something, one of the supply corporation which is using the IoT exclusively, and how many stakeholders, how much participation. Look at some other scenario which I just wanted to give here, the industry-wise split. Today we are discussing about the agriculture, and we should go for the agriculture. Look at here, the service system integration is 24%, whereas the agriculture contribution is 4%. And it means there is a huge scope, huge potential. Where there is a void, I feel it. People generally say, sir, half of the glass is empty and half of the glass is filled. If you are a true opportunistic person, ambitious person, you will say this half of the glass is empty. I can put any kind of fluid other than water. It can be a milk, it can be a sharbat, it can be honey. To make the rest of the half of the water filled with the water is more enrichment, nutritious, flavorous, presentable. And some people say, don't offer me this half of the water of glass. I want the water, you are giving me half water of glass. No, no, no. You give me half water, rest half, I will fill. Then tomorrow you will say, you share with me. That's the difference. So IoT things in India scenario, which is, I think 3 years back, I will show you the scenario, which is almost double now in 2021. In my future slides, you are going to be come across for this. So we should know where we are. We are talking about the IoT. Later on, we'll come to the objectives. What is that? Agriculture. How we are going to put in agriculture. Look at here. India is a follower, not a leader market. What is that? In case of IoT, we are following the others. And if it is the scenario, and sometimes we are asking Atmanirbhar Bharat, can these two things can happen together? No way. One side you are saying we are the followers. Followers can't be Atmanirbhar. Yes, leaders can be the Atmanirbhar. Those gives the others to be given space. To others given to the service. To others given the solutions. So some of the companies which are looking over here is none of them. India. That's why we require some kind of IoT platforms to be get developed in India, although it's not our cup of tea, but it would be our cup of tea if we will motivate our upcoming students, our new generation, to whom we are daily giving our teaching and learning in respective areas, maybe in agriculture, maybe in communication, maybe in computers, maybe in biotechnology, etc. We should understand it is where we are and how we have to move it further. IoT in agriculture. India ranks second in the world in the farm output. That is 64% of the cultivated land dependent on the monsoon. If there is a good monsoon, we are privileged enough. But most of the time, either monsoon comes beyond the limit. What happened, day before yesterday, I was in Kanpur as well as in Varanasi for my Tirtha. And I could see there is a red alert in the Uttar Pradesh, including Kanpur. There was a heavy rain. Even the school college got closed on Friday and Saturday. Yes, and I was worrying how I can make my travel further since my travel was towards to the Kanpur to Varanasi, and the rain was happening like anything for the last 24 hours where I was. What is that? Is that month we supposed to have a rain? That kind of rainfall? Monsoon is over from as per the calendar year. It is supposed to be 1.5 months back. So these kind of change, the global warming, the weather change, do makes our agriculture sometimes the most disturbing. Irrigation accounts for 55 to 75% of water used in India. Nearly 60% of water used in irrigation is wasted. How come it's wasted? It's not that you just open the tap and you forget. It is wasted because most of the rainwater which is fallen in India do drained away from the country, either in a China side or a Pakistan side or maybe Sri Lanka side. You look at this because we are unable to tap our rainwater for harvesting. Rainwater harvesting. Now it is mandated by the UGC and AICTE for the institutions. Whenever they are participating for even accreditation, they ask for this component. Do we have the rainwater harvesting system? Do you have the green audit report? If you don't have, it means you are not concerned about the ecosystem. You are not concerned about the environmental impact on the society, then you can't be the good institution. You can't assure your quality. That is the process. You just open the template of the SSR or SCR of NAC or NBA, you will find it. There is one component. Even we are asking in the affidavit form nowadays. Earlier we used to ask only one thing, barrier-free environment. Today we say no, ecosystem, environmental-free environment. What is that? You should have the green plantations. You should have the rainwater harvesting. You should have the STPs. You have the fire extinguishers. We conserve water by using the soil moisture sensors. So some of the areas we can work. What kind of applications we are expecting from IoT? In the case of agriculture, broadly we can see the crop water management, pest management and control works. Precision agriculture is a very significant. Precision agriculture is the most important part. food production and safety, etc. These all areas, if I will start speaking in a one particular area, I think even a 2 hours will be less. I'll give a small examples. Crop water management. Sometimes we talk about the, our andatas. Who's are our andatas? Of course, our farmers, our great farmers of our nation. Either they are from one state or other state or one country to other country. End of the day, they are working on a field always to fetch us, to feed us, the whole humanity, the mankind. But don't we realize sometimes most significant work they are doing, but with the insignificant way because they have not been given the skills. I'm not saying that every farmer should get a BSc of agriculture. No, we are not expecting it. But at the same time, those have completed the BSc agriculture or MSc agriculture. Can't they go to the farmers to give them little skills over here and the automations taking place in this country? That is the crop water management. Sometimes they give extraordinary water, even they are reducing the water level, bed level water of the earth during that area, that pocket, that state, that district. And same times even the crop is going to be get ruined because of the heavy rainfall comes and you already given a water. So crop water management is most important. And how it can be controlled, of course, IoT. You know that what kind of level of moisture is required, what level of moisture of the soil is required, and the sensors will give an auto control to the submersible pumps. Those are fetching the water. Those are drilling out the water from the earth. Or sometimes it is a tube well connection. The tube well connection can be controlled with the sensors because people switch on the motor and they go and sleep at home. And they realize, oh, because electricity is free in many of the states, including my Punjab. For the farmers, electricity is free. It's fine. You should give, no problem. I have no argument for this. That's another area of discussion. But at the same time, when it is free, sometimes it becomes more casual. You see, at your home also, once you come to know it's a complimentary. When it's a complimentary, you will treat it as okay, it's a complimentary. If it is a wasted out, no problem. It's a complimentary. So that is the one area where we can save because saving a resource, saving a country. Saving a resource, we are going to save many generations to come. And water is one of the major resource. Air, water, and of course then electricity. We have to save. We have to save. Pest management and control works, it's again one area of discussion. If we are talking about the IoT, the pest management, how the pest management, sometimes, they attack, we call in Punjab is a tiddidal. It's a one particular kind of flies, they do come and they come for the fraction of minutes and they spoil the crop like anything. You have 6 months labor, 6 months complete hard work on a field, you are soiling out there and suddenly they comes in a very, thousands and thousands of the bees and the flies, they do come and they just eat away and they don't eat away, they just scatter, they mess up. How we can the pest manage? Because there are sort of, gadgets now. They are going to be generate some ultrasonic sounds and that sounds irritates them. At home, you have the, nowadays a lizard repeller, mosquito repeller, not killing the mosquitoes by putting some chemicals, so-called all-out or maybe kachura chap agarbatti. I'm talking something about the ultrasonic sound generations. And when it is to be flow, when it is to be grow, when it is to be get siren, because IoT, the sensors, they do sense. There is a one different cloud is coming up and it's full of the flying objects, so-called bees, flies, tiddy. They will start giving, the alert to the farmer at home through mobile, and they can just give a control to the one sheet, that one of the sheet as you put covering your car from the rain, you put some kind of a sheet, same kind of sheet, the rollers will get open. It's automated. It's a drive. It's a motor drive, and they will cover your field. Nobody can enter in that. The moment they will fly away, you can roll back. And another side, even the drone will come. Drone will spread the whole polythene sheet, the biggest sheet on your field, and your field is going to get saved because they will not enter from that. End of the day, there are flies. But automation is required. Internet matters a lot. Precision agriculture. What is the precision agriculture? Look at in my country, India, we have all great fruits happening over here. Vegetation. What happens? We collect in a one basket, say 20 or 30 of apples. Out of 30 apples, you will find 5 apples of the unidimensional, equally good. You will say this is lot A, which will go abroad with a dollar sticker. Now, out of that basket remains 45 apples, so called. You search out 50 apples having a little dent, although they are good one, not a rusted one or anything, little dented, or maybe shape is a little different. You will pack them and you are sending it to the market of malls like, of course, metro cities, Bengaluru, Hyderabad, because they can afford this cost, which we are going to levy the cost from that particular with the sticker. Rest of the 20 apples, I should say, they will be going to be spread to the suburban areas and villages with a lesser cost. I want to give example, but in a different way. Precision agriculture does mean, can't we grow the apples in all apples for the same mankind? If all my 50 apples having the same size, capacity, so that my each and every mankind, a person in that scenario can have the same taste of the fruits. And this precision can be implemented in your field as Israel already doing it in their farming in India. It's not that much cost effective, in that sense you have to put so much investment on it. It is just the execution part, and it can happen once you will start from the labs. The faculty will involve the students. They will do some experimentation in the labs. How we can give the equal, significant water supply, dryness, sunlight, and other kind of inputs given to the diets given to the plant out of the plants, so that every plant should give the same vegetation, same kind of fruits. I say it can't be 100% achievable. Yes, it can't be. But at least we can improve. What is that? Precision. Food production and the safety is another part. Collecting food from the field and sending to the market, there is one process. And this process can be more hygiene, more safe. Most of the farmers, they load the vegetables, everything on trolley. In Punjab and everywhere it's a trolley. And sometimes they're putting in a trolley the onions, potatoes, even tomatoes. They least bother what is there in that bag, guinea bag. Sometimes they set on it. They sleep on it. Some particular items can have some weight on it and they can be safe. But some items get ruined out. And end of the day, they have to sell it in the mandi. And we have to buy. There is no alternative. When there is a scarcity of the tomatoes, and tomatoes are little, damaged ones, we say it's okay. End of the day, it's a tomato, you give it to me. If we can have this kind of utility protocols created by IoT, so that they are fetching in the trolley, they are loading and unloading, they are packaging, their transportation, I think it can be more precise, accurate, and healthy. This is the application which I just wanted to convey. So in this, farmers pumps the water more or less in the cultivated land, which I already discussed with you. This may result in wastage of water or insufficiency. It's a both way. And more than the need of the water is again harmful, and less water than the requirement is again going to be the harmful to the crop. So the management is important. But the farmers are not MBAs, and we are not expecting them to do the MBAs. But I think this Internet of Things small signals, small messages on a mobile phone, which are interfaced with the sensors, can be more useful. So that is the alerts which do come. So on-field navigation, that is the GPS, and Internet of Things are very much makes this sense. Sometimes some stray animals do walk into your field at you are at home, and morning you will come to know that your whole field is get ruined by someone, messed up by someone. So we can have this kind of sensors, small cameras, those are installed in the different parts of the field, which can give you the sound signals, picture signals, and other kind of alerts to be make your agriculture field more safe and more secure. So remote sensing in one of the area. Suppose we got a alert that today there is a heavy rain predicted in a state. State is so big. If rain is not going to fall in the field of Mysuru, and rain is going to be heavy fall in the Hassan, how I will come to know? Because my television says red alert in a state. So let the farmers to get the more accuracy through the remote sensing, at least for their area of land where they are geographically, demographically. That makes a sense. That makes a sense in that way, so that the crop nutrition, soil pH, and weather conditions can be more sensing through this remote sensing tools, which again it's a part from the Internet of Things. When I talk about the pest management and control works, so here the system that detects the motion of the predators, because your crop can never travel. Crop is static. It can just be swing because of the wind. But if there is something on a crop, so-called pests, that can be easily captured by the infrared cameras, the cameras which are installed on the towers, and there can be a signal to the farmer, something start moving on your crops, so that area, and even with his signal from the mobile, the tower itself can spring, or a drones it can spring that area where these pets are start rebirthing, growing up, and start moving here and there. Not the whole crop, but generally now farmers, for their safety sake, they will do the pest control throughout the field, where it is not required then also, because we have to have so many chemicals inhaled. We have so many chemicals go inside along with the vegetable, along with the fruits. Sometimes some pocket which has been affected by the pest can be controlled isolatedly. Instead of spraying the pest manually, sometimes high density here, low density here. So like this, we can use the PIR sensors. Based on these PIR sensors, we can definitely reduce the damage done by predators. So this is the one area of IoT. Smart sensors having a many applications. Look at here, soil moisture sensor, the sensor that will sense the moisture level of the land. You don't have to go to the field every corner and touch the soil. Generally, the farmer go take some soil in hand, touch the moisture, then we switch on the motor. But nearby area there is a very moistured soil and still water is flowing from there. So we can save a water, we can save a crop in the both sense if we using this kind of sensors, and it is a part of the IoT when we are going to be using. So passive infrared sensors, PIR based motion detector, which I said, which we are using nowadays. It's very cheap, and these kind of experiments can be done in the lab before we are going to make a prototype, before we are going to make a Arduino based. So these passive infrared sensors are used for the sense the movement of the small pets and even stray animals, or even some kind of stranger somebody's going to destroy your field, because so many times we have the enmity or some kind of issues with the neighbors or some kind of things. So at least you can protect your field, protect your crops with the help of these kind of very cheap sensors, and many experimentation can be done on this. So Arduino, we are using a soil moisture sensors, PI sensors connected to Arduino, performing an action. So Arduino will send a data, that is a Ethernet shield. And finally, because of Internet of Things, you are able to receive the message on your mobile, maybe a text, maybe a call, or even you can click the pictures sitting at home about your field, because your drone is there and drone is stationed, and you can control it with this kind of routers, or you can make your Wi-Fi zone over there by installing some router in that area, and that can be the one. Today, it may be looking like it's not visible if you're thinking. It is going to be practically available in India very soon, because many experimental things are happening. Pilots are going on. So the cost is going to be get improved. Water utilization is going to be get improved. Sustain the high yielding, high quality crop production. Of course, we need some calibrations before we are going to install. Wherever you are installing a sensor, if you are not giving the calibration of the soil for which your field, because every field the soil properties are different. You come to Punjab, you go to Haryana, you go to Uttar Pradesh, the soil having a different level of fertilization, cultivation, and other kind of properties. There are so many properties of the soil. That's why we are growing the different crops. You go to Uttar Pradesh, you will have so many sugar canes fields, but in Punjab you will find dhan, you will find wheat. Whereas in Karnataka, again, you have a sugar cane. So I still remember where I studied Mandya. It's one of the strong districts in Karnataka, having a rich of sugar mills. So why? Because that area soil is meant for that, or make us say pro to that sugar canes area. Whereas you go to the other side of Karnataka, near to Belgaum, etc., I don't think you will get that level of sugar canes density as compared to Mandya and Mysuru. Robots have come a long way since the third industrial revolution, abetted by the development of internet. So here we are using some, unmanned aerial vehicles. We call it as the drones nowadays. So agro drones having a very, very unique features. What is that? Springing of water jets. Some crops require just sprinkle like a rainwater, not by giving a huge water by pipes. So drones can help you connect one water pipe with the drones, and the drones springing. Same times you can spring some kind of fertilizers. Those fertilizers are going to be save the crop, and sometimes we do capture the photographs where my crop is ready to be get now harvest. So harvesting can be done automated again. It is shown in my future slides. So robotic approach in my Punjab these days, during monsoon days, every week 1 or 2 cases of snake biting happens in the field. Luckily, we have a good people like those have the some Ayurveda knowledge. They save the farmers. But end of the day, it is one of the, I'm just touching one area. So when this kind of environment is there during the raining, and we know that so many snakes and other reptiles will come, those are poisonous and farmers can die. I think we can use that time the robotic brigade, a robotic approach to check the crops, or sometimes we have to create some path for water to flow further. They have to make some kiaris, they have to make some bar, and they have to come in the field. So to make a safety of the farmer's life, sometimes we prefer these kind of arrangements during that period when it is going to be harmful. So these are the attractive opportunities in the agricultural robot market. Look at here, the percentage in a market that is around 2025, we are looking to 20.3% USD billion, which is going to be the part of the agricultural robot market. Robots are there for the nuclear power plant. Robots are there for the different kind of a logistic solutions. But for the agriculture solutions, the robotic approach is different. Who will do this research in the lab? Of course, we people. The faculty, those are listening to me. The faculty, they have the computer science department in their college. They have the electronics and communication department in there. I think one of the researcher in your college of Oxford College, she's working on some of the leaves or some of the crop disease by capturing some photographs through infrared cameras. She made sometimes this statement to me, Dr. Preeta. So that's why I know about this. Some research is going on. Although she is not from the agriculture field, but same time she needs some agriculture area professor or a student or a researcher can join with the computer science people, communication people, satellite people. So I think it can make a very good solutions in IoT with the help of this kind of technology is available. We have to just exploit it. So the global market is agriculture robots, which is going to be a huge one, as I've shown you from the previous slide. And this is a graph from the 2020 starting and going to this level of, so where the Indian can also take a use of this. Similarly, for the drones, I think drones can be the one of the best assistant to the empowered farmer. Atmanirbhar Bharat ka farmer Atmanirbhar banega drones ki madad se. Because many places a man cannot reach out in the field. That's why some area get dried, some area get flooded, some area get less pest control. But the drones will give you the actual pictures, actual dimensions, the accurate information about your huge land of field where you are cropping, fertilizing, and harvesting. And that drone as a service, that is called a DAS. वो आपका दास बन करेगा, like slave. So that is called a DAS, drone as a service, DAS, DAS. DAS in Hindi we say, who's assistant to you to predict the crop yields, diagnosis the pest infestation, precision investigation, the precision investigation and field supervision. So Aerobotics is one of the few food tech startups, and now agro drones are going to be the future. There is so much research, marketing, startups can be created in this area, I'm sure. And the warehouse management is, I already spoke of the Mandikaran, where we are going to bring your, the complete part of your field on which you soiled out for 6 months. If it is not going to be accounted properly, stacked properly, transport properly, you are getting a less price of it. And customers are going to get the compromised quality of it. So both of case, you want the customer to get the fresh thing, proper managed thing, and farmers wants to get the true value of their product, of their crop. I think the warehouse management is most important intermediate part, and it can be done with the different IoT structures. This is the complete management sheet which I just wanted to be shared with the participants. Those can initiate any kind of research paper, article, or maybe project on this, because you will find an ERP system involved. You will find IoT cloud aggregates, inventory data is involved here. You'll find a complete, the transit inventory system, dashboard system. So you need a computer, you need a software, you need a sensors, you need transistors, of course you need an internet. And the storage, that is a cloud. So all this is the component for the complete IoT enabled warehouse management. In a college, we say ICT enabled classroom. In a field, in an area of agriculture, we say IoT enabled warehouse management. That is as equally significant your ICT enabled classroom in a college. So this is what I just wanted to be conveyed through this schematic, and it's a well explanatory. You can understand how the incoming inventory is coming, IoT cloud aggregates to get the inventory from the various parts, inputs, and there should not be any, because in FCI, every year we find so many newspaper scams, so many guinea bags awayed, stolen from the FCI godown, the Food Corporation of India's godown. How? Why not tagging? Why not labeling? Why not cameras? Why not counters? There is no management. It's a manual, and people are, they compromised. Even the internal drivers, logistic people, managers, FCI managers, they got compromised sometimes. They bribed out. And finally, when we do the physical verifications on the sometimes randomly, we find it. It can be totally automated. Then there is even sometimes the bags are ruined out. So many, they have rooted out by the rats. Rats are eating, but outside people are just looking for the food grains. Can't we make the proper dispatching system a blockchain? Blockchain is one of the thrust area. Blockchain is very much significant for the warehouse management. If anybody can initiate some research or maybe a publication, this can be a very early publication for SCI journals even, if you use a blockchain for the warehouse management. So vision picking is automated guided vehicles, AGVs, collaborative robots can go for fetching the DP. Let the the complete food part, whichever you have grown, whichever you harvest, it should go in a very hygiene way, freshness way, true hands of the customers, and that can be done. This is the Think Google Glass with a lot more information packed in it. So the Think Google Glass is one of the, nowadays we are using the picking glasses, one of the tool software, which is totally powered by the Google along with the Google Cloud. And it is very much useful for the food industry, helping humans identify the right storage zones from where the food can be stored as per the temperature point of view, moisture content point of view, and safety point of view. There are so many parameters which we have to keep, because it is not going to be consumed same day. It may lie for months and months. When you are going to store for months and months, you must be very much concerned about the temperature cycle, the moisture cycle, the many other kind of things, dryness, etc. So product authenticity labels are equally important. You go to the outside India, somewhere in Europe or US, you go and buy something. They will say it's a grade A product, grade B product, grade C product. What is the difference? Grade A product does mean that it has been passed through all the testings. What are the ingredients or inbuilt in this fruit or vegetable, and which may be allergy to these kind of people. In India, tell me frankly, you go and buy some fruits and you just eat, and later on the doctor says, "Arey, why you have a wheat allergy? You should not have the onion. You should not have the banana. You should not have the orange." Why, sir? Because it is allergic to you. But we don't have this kind of a chart, pattern, scheduling. This is the state-of-the-art food packaging system. Whatever the food is going to be get packaged, it is going to be put the ingredients or their, what level of fats, what level of calories, what level of proteins, so that we can have a true chain which we can help us to be. I'm not talking about the processing food. I'm talking about the raw fruits, raw vegetables. Many those which can be like for the salads, those can be for your early eating time. But sometimes some particular fruit is also not going to be immune to your body, tuned to your body, and this kind of a labeling authenticity of the things I think it's going to be a very useful to the clients. So manufacturing history has to be come out. There is the real-time location from where this product has been collected, from where it traveled the logistic, where is the consumer is going to wait for this product, what this product is carrying in it in this package, what kind of the brand, how authentic the brand is, a AA, AAA or single A protected, because the different brand has their own testings. We say FASSI, that is a Food Arbitration Safety of India. That is the council, FSCCI. So until unless it is going to be tagged, stamped, labeled, we feel it is maybe sometimes harmful, because it is not being calibrated or tested to found to be suits to my body, and that makes through IoT, through Internet of Things, more easy, more comfortable. That's the area. So automated crop harvesting nowadays, it's a hot discussions in India, because government of India from last 3 years, they are giving these kind of equipments a duty free. If you are going to be import from outside India, these kind of equipments will get assembled finally for the Indian agro solutions. You are not going to pay that duty extra. Whatever the production cost is coming to from Israel, from Canada, or maybe any other country, is going to be get imported here or export from there. So this is the way we can make more IoT enabled field harvesting or crop harvesting. If we are bringing little gadgets from outside, start doing the same experimentation here, R&D here, so that similar equipments can be start manufacturing in India as per the Indian market need, as per the Indian field and farmers need. So that one area. So this is the packaging optimization with the different areas like sensors are involved, printed electronics is involved, of course your Bluetooth is involved, RFID is involved, QR scanning is involved, barcode is involved, and image recognition. These all are the areas on which much work is doing for the packaging optimization, and it can be very much useful for the consumer's safety point as well as the farmers upgrading their scale, upgrading their income. If you want to increase the farmer's income or villagers' income, if you bring the automation, their time is going to be saved, your production is going to be get yield more, and of course they will get some lifestyle also. Because it is helping in all areas. It's a multi-dimensional solutions we are going to be getting in this. Because packaging is one of the major part after harvesting. If the packaging is not done in the primary level, secondary level, then consumer distribution level, if the products, the product's authenticity, the product's true value fade away, loosen away. Sometimes they have taken the grain in a very dry area. But when it reaching to my home in the form of wheat, it was moistured. And I feel so many, within 10 days in my wheat, there are so many pests are there. The pests are there. Then you say, oh, I have to throw it out. Wastage of money, wastage of food, and of course, wastage of food, which is going to be happen if we are not going to be have the packaging as per the protocols, SOPs to be given over there. So Indian IoT in agriculture market, look into the graph over here from the 2016 and where we are now reaching. It's entirely different. We are just going to improve our area. From 2006 we started a journey. Now 2024 we are looking the new part. What percentage of the agriculture? Look into this graph. I just wanted to show you. Look at here. The agriculture is going to be at 8%. Whereas the healthcare is at 10%, automotive is 11%, manufacturing is 18%, other utilities are 25%. So agriculture, India's industrial IoT market size as per the survey, 4.95 billion USD. That is the base from the units and revenue. So units and revenue part, that is the consumer as well as the industry part. The consumer part percentage is 40 to 45%, whereas the industry part is 60 to 55%, which is going to be the scenario of the IoT in agriculture, which we have discussed over here. And finally, I can conclude here with this. It is not only to be give you the solution for the soil moisture or irrigation, of course, damage caused by the predators, increasing the productivity, water conservation, and of course, end of the day, it's a profit to the farmers. These all areas are very much relevant to the agro solutions through IoT. These are very much relevant. I think I have shown you the good number of pictures and of course discussed. But beyond that, being a faculty, being an institution, it is the new opening for the research and development, new opening for the startups, new opening for increasing your research index as well, Neopening for to set up the more labs, agro-solution labs in your institution. Because I don't feel that we faculty members are going to be tomorrow doing the farming. We are not doing the farming, but we can empower the farmers by inviting to your campus and showing some results, laboratory setups, prototype products, so that they can aware about the things, and then make some companies to be get available to be giving the very cheap cost, the drones, robotics, IoT apps, that is the mobile apps, so that every farmer can use these apps. Many institutions, they started a FM radio, and we call it as a Kisan FM. So why not every day, evening 1 hour, let the students to speak on that radio, let the farmers to listen what the student is saying, how we can save our crop, what kind of app is available on the mobile, what kind of solutions they can product, and let the students to become a startups. They can have a small income by selling their products, their content, or other kind of things. So it is the ecosystem, and it is, I think, a very win-win situation for the farmers, for the faculty, for the students, and of course for the Atmanirbhar Bharat. So this is all I just wanted to be shared with you in my 15 minutes of discussion. So having some doubts and queries, so we can have now. So I stop the presentation here. I just conclude my today's topic, and I just open to the floor if you have some queries. Otherwise, we will conclude for this. Thank you for having a patient listening. Those are the participants for this FDP first day session, and I'm sure many more these kind of solutions, applications, and other kind of research areas openings will be part of the future speakers sessions going to be take place. Be effective listener, be effective user for that, so that you can bring the solutions to the farmers. If faculty is not going to take the participation, the students will not become serious. The students will not become serious. The farmer will not get sensitized. To sensitizing the farmers, faculty should be serious first. That's my say. Thank you very much. Thank you, Professor Manjunath, to giving this opportunity to be interacting with the good number of faculty members from this activity. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
Participants, if any queries are there, please put it onto the chat box. Sir will answer to it.
It's a query as well as it's a feedback which we required from the different participants. How you feel like, is that session is in tune to your FTP? So please write on a chat box if it is relevant to your FTP or so that the organizers should also come to know whether the selection of speaker is correct or relevant or not. So the feedback should be in every way. If the session is very much relevant to your area for which you have been enrolled, and if you have some query or discussions, and do interact more, do collaborate with the different people. You people are from the different institutions. Do writing, make a joint paper, research paper, make a joint prototype things in your labs. At the end of the day, it's a society's need, and you are going to give application. And your contribution towards to the area of biotechnology, area of agriculture is going to be very useful. Thank you. Those are giving a feedback like interesting, and it's going to be a knowledgeful, whatever they say. Thank you, Dr. Ganesh, or other participants. Those are reaching out and writing something on a chat box. And with this, I just conclude. I request to our organizers at Professor Manjunath, who is the coordinator for research, to be taken further. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for your encouraging lecture and motivating lecture. So it is very informative and it is very brainstorming. And I hope our participants got right spirit to take up their career in the IoT in agriculture. We expect your cooperation in future phases also. Hope all the participants got good knowledge from the Manna sir. And I take it a pleasure to thank you for your kind support and accepting our invitation and gracing the occasion and delivering knowledgeable lectures. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. So thank you to all of you, and God bless you and please take care. We'll be meeting in some other platform sometime in future, maybe another way. So thanks to the organizers for inviting me. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Dear participants, feedback link is posted. We are concluding our today's session here itself. Please make sure that you are filling the feedback link so that you will receive your certificate once the session is complete. So we are posting the feedback